Hey, Taylor. Hi.
Hey, can you see me?
Hi there. It's great that you could join us. Thank you very much.
I can't hear you very well. Just try again.
Is it any better now?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Yeah, that's great then. Just let me know if you can hear us properly. Can you hear and see us then?
Yeah, I can see you. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
I gotta practice my. I listened to your Hungarian clip. What is it? Jó estét, sziasztok.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, no accent and nothing, so we'll go on with a harder lesson next time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we asked the members of the Laravel Hungary Facebook group to send us questions that they would like us to ask you. And we got quite a number of questions, and we tried to select a couple of them which we can get through. We have about 20-25 minutes to go through all the questions that we've selected for today. And what we'll do is I'll read each question one by one so the audience can also hear the question and know what question you're answering to. And then we can just take it along one by one, going along that way, if that's okay.
Okay.
Super, that sounds great. So the first question is a question by myself. And the question is, what type of projects, in your opinion, is Laravel best suited for?
So when Laravel first came out, it was definitely better suited for smaller projects because it was a lot simpler and had less features. It was kind of designed to be really minimal. But over the past few years, it's gotten better suited for probably medium to large size projects. It has more features like the job queuing is sort of an advanced feature. The dependency injection is a lot better. So it's definitely really well suited for complex, large projects, but I don't really mean to say that you can't use it for a small project, because you definitely can. And like, you can just use a single routes file and put all your routes in that one file, and that will work great. But I think it really, shines if you have sort of a medium or large project you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can pretty much confirm that, because that's pretty much the way we started off with Laravel, actually. We started using it on larger projects, and it really does help development a lot. So yeah, that does make sense. And the next question sort of ties on to that. And the question goes like this. It's a question sent by Márton Baranyai. He was actually one of our presenters, and he's here today. He sent us the question on meetup.com. And the question goes like this. We have a system in place at our company which is a result of several years development work, and which is comprised of a database and 3 very large complex native PHP applications. In such a situation, is there any particular strategy or key points that you would recommend for the migration process to Laravel?
So there's 2 ways I've seen people tackle this problem. One way, which was used at my previous job, was to bring in individual components of Laravel one at a time. So they started with just pulling in the Laravel router and built a routes file, and that was the only component of Laravel they used, and then everything else was just their native PHP app on the back end. And then you can kind of pull in Eloquent or Blade and kind of convert it piece like that. So that's one option. The other option I've heard is they'll start a blank Laravel app, and then they'll have a middleware where only certain routes go to the Laravel app and everything else goes to the old app, and they'll port it over one route at a time, if that makes sense. And so when the request is coming in, you can check the request URI or whatever and see if you want your Laravel app to handle it. If not, pass it off to your legacy application, and you can kind of migrate it that way. And both of those can work pretty well. It's just sort of up to you what path you want to take, and you can try both. Where you pull in the components of Laravel, you should check out the Matt Stauffer /Torch TORCH repository on GitHub, because he has instructions for how to use each component of Laravel without using the entire framework.
Thank you very much. And the next question is from Ben Turi, and this was sent to us via email. And the question goes like this: where or how do you get your ideas for the constant development of the framework?
So a lot of the ideas come from problems I have when I build something like Spark or Envoy or Forge. I see things that I wish were better, and that's where I try to improve things. So in Laravel 5.3, which is it's not a huge changing release, but it just kind of polishes little things and adds some new features that I found while I was doing Spark. But another area now where Laravel gets a lot of development is from contributions on GitHub. Like all of the array validation features in Laravel were contributed by the community. There were some recent migration features that were contributed. Lots of echo features were contributed. So a lot of new things are coming from other people besides me, which is really nice because it gets a lot more people involved and contributing to the framework. So that's been really just this year. There's been a lot more contributions than last year already, and not just small contributions, but large contributions as well.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, the increased activity, just the more increasing popularity of Laravel, or?
Yeah, I think the popularity, and also people are learning the framework internals a lot better because they've had a few years to work with it, and they're kind of getting more familiar with it, and so they're able to contribute in more complex pull requests. So it's been really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I guess the next question sort of ties on to that. And the question goes like this. The question was sent by Bence Kadar, and he's also here today. He's our lead developer. He's the guy who ran across the screen at the start. So Laravel is criticized a lot for developing too fast and for having too many changes from version to version. What do you think? Are you planning to make Laravel calmer, or will you continue to go for implementing new, innovative solutions as soon as possible? What's your stand on that?
So I like both approaches. I like Laravel 5.3 is a little bit calmer. There's not it's not a huge change. Won't take very long to upgrade. But I do also like to sort of always be pushing forward and adding new features, even if we have to make small breaks. And sort of my approach is we have two releases each year, and I try to make it to where it doesn't take you more than one whole day to upgrade. And so that means you only have to spend 2 days a year to upgrade. That's the goal that that I try to go for. And so with each upgrade recently, I've also been listing, estimated upgrade time with every release. So in the documentation, in the upgrade guide, let's see, laravel.com/docs. Let me see what it was. Upgrade guide for 5.2 says about 1 hour. Mm-hmm. So I try to list it there, and as long as I can keep it less than a day, I feel okay. But we try to make it as small as possible. I think 5.2 to 5.3 will probably only take just 30 minutes or so. That's a really easy upgrade.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Speaking of 5.3, a question by Esther Zotter. She will be our next presenter. She's also here tonight. What do you consider to be Laravel 5.3's most significant new feature? Do you have any further secret plans that you might share with us? It's just a few of us here, as you can see. So,
listen, most significant new feature has actually been a secret so far. I think that no one knows, but I think it has to do with notifications, email, things like that. And I haven't really shown it yet, but I will definitely be showing it at Laracon, and there will be hopefully a live video stream of Laracon so that everyone can see live too this year. So that'll be nice. Mm-hmm. Other good features. Let me think. I use Trello to keep track of all of the new features. Let me look at the list because sometimes I forget here. Let's see. Better JSON support in MySQL, so you can update JSON fields, select query JSON fields. That's a nice feature. You can cache things for less than 1 minute, because previously, if you're using like Memcache, you could not really cache things for like 5 seconds or some really short duration. Mm-hmm. But if I do that now, The blade for each loops, you may have seen this on Twitter, but they now have a loop variable so that you can say, is this the first iteration through the loop, the last iteration through the loop, things like that. You can roll back one migration at a time. So you can say migrate rollback step 1 and just go back one migration. So you don't have to go back all of your migration batch. Let's see, what else? That's some of the more some of the things I have listed so far. The policy classes, the generator for that is quite a bit better. But yeah, there is a significant new feature that will be announced at Laracon related to notifications and email that's not been shown. But definitely watch the live broadcast and you'll see it.
We'll be up to date on that. Yeah, we'll do. Definitely. And what about the next 3, 5, 10 years? How do you see the whole ecosystem in 5 or 10 years' time? Regarding the parallel projects that you're working on as well. This is a question sent to us by Robert Dezső by Facebook.
I think there will be, I think we'll see a lot more contributions from other people. I plan to release eventually within the next couple of years a Forge 2.0 with more features. I'd like to hire 1 or 2 people to help work on the framework full time, maybe a designer and a programmer to answer emails, tackle bugs, design, do front end design work and stuff. So that will help a lot. But it's always so hard to judge, how things are going to go because things change so fast. But those are the things that come to mind that would really help a lot.
And starting to work with other guys so closely, that will be something very new to you, won't it? I mean, in this respect, on Laravel anyway. You mentioned hiring new staff and...
What was that? I missed that one.
Yeah. So you mentioned maybe hiring some staff to help you out. I said that will be something new to you. I mean, working so close together, not as a community, but with colleagues on Laravel.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I would like to do that this year, hopefully.
Yeah. Which part of Laravel or what functionality of Laravel is your personal favorite? This is a question sent to us by Christian Fures via Facebook. So your favorite?
I have two pieces. Eloquent I really like Eloquent, the ORM a lot. I think it's really easy to work with and I enjoyed that. I also like the queue system. I use that basically on every project. Let's see, what else? I like Blade. Yeah, so ORM, Blade, and queues are probably some of my favorite features. I also there's some little things that I like too. I like being able to just return a collection from a controller and get JSON or return an array and get JSON. Small things like that, I think, make the development experience pretty nice. I use Laravel Valet a lot recently for development and stuff. But yeah, those are a few things that stick out.
Yeah, I can actually confirm that. We as a company started actually developing in Laravel about 2 years ago, and those small things, as you put them, were definitely one of the first things that were very appealing when we started using Laravel. Yeah, so definitely. And you also did mention the Blade template system, and the next question relates to that. The question was sent to us by István Schaffhauser. It was sent via email. And the question goes like this. Why did you choose to implement the Blade template system instead of Twig or some other system? Why Blade templates?
So I did Blade. The main thing I don't like about Twig is that you can't use just any PHP function in your Twig template usually. And everything else I like actually about Twig. I think it's pretty nice. But that's really one of the main reasons why I didn't use it. And then also, I was still fairly new to PHP at the time, and I wasn't really that familiar with Twig. I had never used Symfony before, and so I'd never used Twig before either for any project. So I didn't really know what it was like. And Blade is kind of modeled after, I was coming from .NET at the time, and Blade is modeled after .NET's templating engine, Razor. So all the syntax is very similar to Razor syntax, which uses the @ symbol for its if statements and loops and things like that. But I think I mainly didn't use Twig because I just wasn't very familiar with it at the time. I had never used it. But then also not being able to call just arbitrary PHP functions.
Mm-hmm. I see, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. And moving a little bit away from Laravel on a more personal note, a question sent to us by Andrea Mesaros via email. And the question goes like this: what is your favorite retro game and what do you play nowadays? So after here.
I have a couple of favorite games that are older. When I was a kid, I really liked Pokemon. I mean, I still think Pokemon is cool. And I also like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, which I don't know if that's considered retro. I guess it's getting old now, but I like those. Lately, I've been playing, of course, Rocket League with Jeffrey. We have a big rivalry, big Laravel Laracast rivalry. Then also on phone, I play that Slither.io game, the snake, where you're the snake and you have to eat the other snakes. But yeah, I'm not a very good gamer. I got okay at Rocket League mainly just to beat Jeffrey, and then I quit playing.
Target accomplished, and then game over.
Yeah, I retired from Rocket League after I beat him last time.
Yeah, I guess retro and nostalgia, those two things tend to mix up, don't they?
Yeah, those are Zelda and Pokemon are nostalgic for me. I don't know if they're retro.
Yeah, it depends on where you're looking at it, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, that rounds it off, and we'll let you get back to your lovely family and your work. And I'm just going to ask the audience to please give a hand to Taylor for spending some time with us. Yeah, so thanks very much. Really appreciate it. I mean, it meant a lot to us that you joined us here today. We'll keep a lookout and we'll follow you on all channels, and we'll have a look at the online stream for LaraCon. So all the best to you and have a great day.
Okay,
thanks very much. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.